Hey you, what up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. So in this video, I am going to be testing new makeup, and this is sort of a part 2 to last week's video in which I was also testing new makeup to find out what's new and what's good, but there were a lot of products that I didn't get a chance to get to, unfortunately. And so in this video, I'm going to be touching on some of those products as well as newer ones that have landed on my lap to test everything, to slap it onto my face, to see what works, what doesn't, and just to kind of have a chill, good makeup trial type of time. I feel like we could all use a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a relaxed moment in our lives. So this is what this video is intending to be. I am feeling pretty mellow today. I am feeling like things are settling. 2025, it's kind of coming to its own. And so those are the positive vibes that I want to send to you guys. That is what I want to push forward into the universe. So with that, let's get into this video. Let's test new makeup to find out what's good, what's new, what's worth our time and money. And let's hit it. January 2025, testing new makeup, part 2. Here we come. Alright, so you guys know I've been into this strategic concealing technique using concealer. I've been attempting to use concealer all over the face, or rather all over my spots, to kind of blend them into my skin. So today I have a new concealer to do that with, and it is from Tower 28. It is their Serum Concealer. Shade is 9.0. This is supposed to be a weightless serum concealer that has the power to visibly cover dark circles, hyperpigmentation, and redness. And it's also designed for sensitive skin, which is really nice. Non-irritating formula. It also helps to smooth textured skin without silicones, medium buildable coverage, natural finish. That all sounds really, really nice to me. Very, very promising. Lots of claims, but I've actually heard really good things about this. I hope this is my shade, but honestly, it doesn't look too far off, so hopefully this is it. I think that's pretty spot on. I just hope it doesn't oxidize, because if it oxidizes, then I'm gonna have to use it a little bit more than just strategically. I'm doing things so backwards today. I completely forgot that maybe I might want to put on a primer or some sort of a glow, and I actually have a new glow primer to test out, but let's just roll with it. Humor me. Alright, so we've got this new Glow and Hydrate Luminizer from Heart Candy, 3 shades: Rosy Glow, Golden Glow, Bronze Glow. I'm gonna go for the golden, and hopefully it'll be the one for me. Why does this remind me of JLo Beauty? Whoa, I don't know if that was supposed to come out that way, but I see. It's a pump, squeezy tube. You know what? I'm gonna do something crazy. And by something crazy, I mean I'm going to blend in this glow with this concealer that I already have on my face, just to give me a little bit of a sheer base. And then I'm gonna go back and spot conceal. I feel like that might work out for me, so let's try it. Gonna go with this Say brush. Ooh, that is rather luminous and glowy. Maybe a little bit more orange than I like, but I'm glad I have the concealer, because then I can at least dilute it a little bit. And you know what? This glowy base actually solidifies rather quickly on the face, so you kind of need to blend it out fast. Good to know. Similar with the concealer, it has a pretty creamy consistency. I think the color match is quite good. I can definitely make it work. It doesn't seem to be oxidizing. Seems to be working. Very, very interesting. All right, that is actually not scary, and I am surprised, but pleasantly surprised. So now I'm gonna add a little bit more of that strategic concealing like I was supposed to, though it looks like that first layer did provide some coverage, so I don't think I need to go in as heavily as I wanted to. Maybe just a little bit of spots here and there. This is such a new technique for me, and I know everyone's been doing it forever, but recently I've been getting a lot more compliments on my skin, and specifically I think it's because I'm using less product, and so people are able to actually see my skin more, you know? This brush that I'm using is from Say, and it's quite nice. It's nice to be able to blend out a larger spot and then also go in precisely. Oh, this serum concealer is really something different, actually. I would say the coverage is a little bit more than medium, but it's definitely buildable to full. So like on the fuller side of medium, if you will, but it's not texture enhancing like a lot of the fuller coverage concealers tend to be. So far, I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. And I know this isn't like a new concealer per se, or maybe it is, but it's definitely new for me. I'm not sure how it's gonna work in my under eye, but I'm gonna try it. But this side of the face, it's looking pretty close to flawless. I think I was able to minimize all of my spots and all of my discoloration that I had here with just those 2 products, the concealer and the Glow Luminizer from Heart Candy. I would say the skin match for me is quite perfect. It's not brightening. It's a very natural type of coverage. It even works in the under eye, as you can see. It's not brightening my under eye, but it's definitely making it look just clean and normal. And clean up that line right underneath my brow. I think I showed you this in my previous video. Sometimes I like to do this even when there's no product in my brow, just to give it that little bit of a groomed feeling. I also like to do this with my lip line, only at the corners. So how are you guys feeling this week? This week was all over the place for me personally. I'm still glued to the news. I'm still checking up on all of my friends in LA and California. I have so many friends who've been affected by the fires there. And so naturally my mind has been preoccupied with everything on the West Coast. But also in my personal life, this week was actually my anniversary with Lee, with the Swatch model. And if you guys have been following me for a long time, then you know that the Swatch model and I have known each other for a very long time. 24 years to be exact. And yes, we met when we were in school. And yes, we've known each other since we were kids. And yes, we are an anomaly in the system. We have broken the system because we have been together for longer than most marriages, honestly. We've definitely both beat our parents. So yeah, this week for me personally has been a roller coaster. There's been a lot of good. There's also been some ups and downs. It's had its good and bad. But I guess we all can say that we are living life to the fullest. All right, so now let me assess this face. Let me see if there's anything else that needs to be done. I always forget to add coverage to this area right here, right next to the ear. And there's always some discoloration by the ear. I guess this area is so far out of my sight. I kind of have to remind myself to reach back there because it's so visible to everyone else, except for you, you know? I am liking everything that is happening on the face. I do definitely like this concealer. I think it's quite unique and different. I do like the coverage. I really love the finish. I think it has the smoothing effect, like they said. It is indeed buildable. I don't know, so far I am pretty impressed. So now I want to move on to brows. In my previous video, I wanted to test out some new brow products, and I swear I left them here. I swear I did. They are from NYX, and it is the Blade and Shade brow pencil. I'll show you a close-up. It's that blade-like pencil, but a little bit finer than you would expect. So my brows are already glued down, but not super heavily. I just need to find the right shade for me. I have it here in 3 shades. I'm gonna go for the shade Espresso. Seems to be the darkest, hopefully the coolest. It does have a spoolie on the other end, but I'm not gonna need to utilize that given the fact that I already have gel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fill in this section above my concealer just to make sure there's no gaps, there's no bald spots, nothing is peeking through too much. I don't want to block brow, but I also don't want any bald spots. This feels like a waxy pencil to me, which is not really my preference. I also find that waxy pencils are harder to blend out because they're stiffer, but I guess it'll work for the purpose of what I'm trying to use it for right now, just to kind of groom the brow. There we go. Actually, that looks pretty good. What am I complaining about? That looks pretty decent. I like it. Actually, I like my whole complexion. I like everything that's happening on the face right now. So I'm going to move on happily. Just got a new package from NARS, and in this package, I believe there is an eyeshadow palette. It is the Afterglow Tempting Eyeshadow Palette, and I love these palettes from NARS. Ooh, there's also some liquid blush, so I'm going to utilize that, and some lippies. How shockingly stunning is that? So we've got some new shades of the Afterglow liquid blush, and these all actually seem to be quite wearable. This one's like a nice chocolatey brown. Shade Aragon is like a brick brown, and then Orgasm Rush is the one that I want to try because I can't seem to be able to tell what the shade is exactly. Oh, okay, let's start with just a little bit. I'm gonna use my same brush here. Okay, I am very familiar with this product. It is very easy to use. It has a very dewy and fresh finish, which I do appreciate, and the shades are quite wearable, as you can tell. It doesn't really muddy up the makeup too much, although I will say sometimes I'm a little bit scared of these browner blushes on me, and same with bronzers. Honestly, I always feel like it's very easy to make your overall look appear dirty, but because this formula is so easy to use, it's not super pigmented, it's easy to blend out, I will say this is nice. All right, so that was shade Orgasm Rush. Kind of want to try shade Insatiable, which has a little bit more of a berry tone. Very pretty. I like that a lot, but I'm not done. I'm not done because I want to go back with my concealer and I want to make sure my spots are well covered. So I'm going to apply just the tiniest amount and then kind of go over the borders of that blush with the concealer, just like that. Just want to make sure everything is seamless here today. I don't want there to be any hot spots. I want everything to look intentional. There we go. I think we're getting somewhere. All right, so now back to the eyeshadow palette. I always get very excited for these eyeshadow palettes because they're different every single year, although it's it's the same collection, but this is this year's. And it features a really unique lilac lavender type of shade, which I gotta say, I'm drawn to because it is one of those shades that I personally really like. I think it's really easy to work with for like a one and done kind of vibe. I'm gonna go for that, actually. I'm gonna dip right in and I'm gonna just wash that across my lid. See how pretty? Very, very subtle, but I think it does such a great job of balancing your lids, especially if you have any sort of hyperpigmentation on your lids the way that I do. My lids, ever since I started using the lash growth serum, have gotten so much darker. And although, I will be honest, I don't actually mind the darkness because it kind of looks like I'm wearing eyeshadow all the time now, I will say it is still discoloration. It is still hyperpigmentation. So if I want to look a little bit fresher, if I want to avoid that dark lid look from hyperpigmentation, this lavender is probably the easiest way to do it. It's such a easy wash of color, like a one and done, but look how easily that brightens. It's that similar concept with the Huda Beauty Ube powder. That purple electric lilac shade is perfect for warm skin tones like mine, and it's perfect for getting rid of certain pigment, or at least balancing it out. Perfection. This is Morphe M521 brush, just like a light wash of color. Of course, you could apply this very pigmented if you press it on with a different brush, with like a packing brush, but I just wanted a light wash of color and perhaps a little bit of sparkle in the center. So I'm gonna go for the shade in the middle. This one is like a lavendery nudie sparkle. I'm gonna add that just to the center of the lid, to the brow bone, for a bit of a pop. Easy peasy, just like that. Nothing more, nothing less. This I like. Next, I finally have a new eyeliner to test out, and also a mascara, and it is from Lift Tinted, from my girl Deepika. The new Legacy Lash Collection, volumizing and lengthening mascara, and also the Legacy Liner Liquid Kajal. This is super, super exciting. Carbon black shade. Onyx is the name. Fine felt tip. Let's go for it. Lately, I've been winging out my liner a little bit more out rather than upwards, so I'm not following my lower lash line because my eyes naturally tilt upwards at the outer corners, but instead I've just been pulling them straight out. Guys, this is incredibly black. Super, super inky. Nice and stiff. No feathering whatsoever, which I really do appreciate. Really like the formula so far. Wow. Very, very nice. That is indeed a carbon black. Oh yeah, messed up my liner just a little bit, but that's okay. I'll be able to fix it. So I'm just gonna use a Q-tip, pointed Q-tip, and my micellar water, and I'm gonna clean up right underneath. And of course, sometimes if you fix the liner, you naturally remove a little bit of coverage that you had there before. So I'm gonna go back with my concealer and just clean that up. I'm sure you noticed, but I have not used any powder just yet because it seems to me that the Serum Concealer is solidifying almost to a powder finish, but I will have to apply a little bit of powder underneath. And I'm thinking for that, I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Ultra Pink powder, not the Ube. I'm sorry, did I say Huda? I meant one size, but the Huda is right there next to it. Moving on, I will say this liner is probably one of the blackest liners that I've used in a while, and another thing I like about it is how extremely non-liquidy it is. Like, there's absolutely no feathering. And I mean, because it's so solid, you kind of have to be very precise and very purposeful with where you place that liner. I mean, even I made a mistake, but I think it's just a matter of practice. So now I'm gonna test out the mascara from the same collection. Reminds me of the Too Faced mascara wand. Okay, and the brush itself is those short little bristles, which is not my favorite, but maybe it's good because then you can get really precise. Honestly, it all depends on the formula. So for a mascara, I actually prefer a more liquid formula so that it's easier and faster to cover all the hairs. Whereas for an eyeliner, I prefer something more solid so that there's no feathering, which also then makes it quicker, you know? All right, so far, this mascara is pretty nice. It does coat the lashes quite quickly. I can't say that it's making staggering difference in length or volume, but I do like the fact that it is very precise, making them defined without any clumps. It's just a nice, clean, super black, inky mascara. I appreciate that. I don't like the brush. That's just my preference. But the mascara liquid itself is very nice. Okay, I'm not too mad. That looks really good. Really, really nice. I have one more eyeshadow palette that I want to show you guys. From the new Twilight Saga New Moon collection, ColourPop, this is the eyeshadow palette. For some reason, I was expecting to see exactly what I am seeing. I was expecting to see some oranges, some yellows, some reds. This doesn't really surprise me. I guess it kind of looks like the palette packaging here, and the colors inside are very representative of what is on the outside. Some people will like that. I think most people will like that. Another thing I will say is that looking at my monitor, this yellow shade looks a lot more saturated and a lot more intense in my monitor than it does in person. In person, this is almost like a pale yolk, but in my monitor, it looks like a lemon yellow. And in fact, this is a shimmery shade that looks a little bit truer to what's on my finger. Interesting. I think I'm gonna save this for another video, maybe another trial, but I just wanted to show you what we're working with. So funny story, camera cut off and there was actually an hour between the last take and this take. I took a nap, you guys. I took a quick little nap, but I am back. I don't know if you can tell. I can definitely tell a little bit. Anyway, let's finish up this makeup. Where was I? Quick skin check. Looks like everything is still pretty much intact. Looks like I don't really need to powder down my face, although my forehead does look a little bit more luminous than the rest. Let me just do a quick little blot. I'm gonna use this fancy blotting powder, just like that. And by the way, these new PIXI face brushes are my absolute favorite. They are so extremely soft, so giant, perfect for a giant face like mine. Obsessed. For the lips, I have something new today from Summer Fridays, and I believe these are their new lip oils. There are 4 new shades here. These four are the originals. And I'm thinking I want to go for something a little bit darker, perhaps this shade Midnight Berry and or this shade Warm Beige. For my lip liner today, I am going to reach into my 90s MAC stash. I'm gonna go for Cool Spice and also Chestnut. My lips are already lined. Let me actually fix that a little. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out my YouTube Shorts or Reels video on these MAC lipsticks, but it is a collection that I'm particularly interested in right now. I do think that MAC is totally back. They are here to stay. I love the fact that they are embracing the 90s with some of their iconic shades, and I feel like that lip combos trend is going to keep on evolving in 2025, and we're gonna continue seeing these fresh new takes on retro looks like 90s and 2000s Y2K, and so that's something that kind of makes me a little bit excited for the new trends in makeup. Anyway, Cool Spice is actually a new shade. It is a cooler version of the original Spice lip pencil, which is a warm, spicy-like type of color that works with a lot of MAC nudes. But this one, as you can see, is like a cooler version of that. This one will work with a lot of the cooler or a lot more neutral lipsticks, but I'm also going to use a little bit of Chestnut, which is a brown. I'm gonna darken the corners specifically. I'm gonna create that signature 90s Angelina Jolie split lip, which she has naturally, but I'm going to fake it. And then I'm gonna go for these lip oils. I'm gonna start with the darker one. Oh, this is very, very pigmented, but very, very comfortable. And then let me add the lighter one in the center, now that you can really see it. And there we go. Here's my final look. Easy peasy, definitely very wearable. And with that, let me kind of just go over everything so I can refresh my mind after my nap about everything that I used on my face today. So I started off by mixing the Tower 28 Serum Concealer with the Hard Candy Just Glow Luminizer. I applied that all over my face, and that seemed to kind of even out the base of my face. And then I went in with the concealer and strategically concealed everything else. I actually think I applied a little bit more concealer than I intended to, just because this felt very, very flexible and very, very easy to use. I like the way that it didn't enhance my texture. In fact, it kind of just worked with everything. Very flexible product, very nice, powder-like finish. Definitely more on the full coverage side, but also buildable. So to me, this is a product that I will for certain reach for again. Shade 9 MDR is what I used, and I think it's a pretty good match for me. Let's see next. I really did enjoy the NARS Afterglow Tempting Eyeshadow Palette. I do love that lilac lavender wash of an eyeshadow, especially when you want to brighten your lids, when you have a little bit of discoloration like I do and you want to just make them pop, but still keeping it nice and neutral. I think it did just that. I added a little bit of sparkle for some fun, and here we go. I can't say I was crazy about the NYX waxy pencils, although I do like the shape, I do like how precise it is. The Blade and Shade is definitely a good name for it. I don't particularly like a waxy brow pencil consistency for me because my brows are quite thick, and so it's hard to get the product through the brows to brush them out, so not really my vibe, but it did the job. I was particularly impressed with the Live Tinted Kajal liquid liner. This is the first product of its kind that I've ever seen. It is a felt tip marker, but the liquid itself is extremely black and pigmented, not runny whatsoever, not watery, just very, very solid. I haven't really seen that in a marker form, so that was pretty impressive to me. Similarly, I really like the mascara. I wasn't crazy about the actual spoolie, but I do like the way that my lashes are appearing at the moment. So overall, I like the product. I will say the lip oil that I just put on has a little bit of a flavor, which I do enjoy, but something about it feels less like a lip oil and more like a gloss. There's something a little bit thick about it, thick and stringy, that I'm not really loving. Perhaps I applied a little bit too much product, so let me go ahead and remove some. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But everyone seems to be enjoying these products from Summer Fridays. I haven't heard of anyone dislike a Summer Fridays product. I feel like this is a brand that is trending, especially among the Gen Zs. I'll definitely continue testing it to see how it goes for me. So overall, I think I had a pretty pleasant experience in this video. Everything seems to be working out nice. I will definitely go ahead and bring back some of the products that I didn't really touch on too much, specifically the ColourPop Twilight collection, the new one, and I'll definitely let you know how it goes. So on that positive note, I am going to wrap this video. I will see you guys in my next one. Peace out. I'm out. Waiting for your comments below, and I will see you soon. Deuces.